Good morning and welcome to the Customer Experience Management 2017 live from Cape Town. And we're live on the live stream with the Customer Experience Award winner of 4 awards this year. We have to my right, we have Clint Payne, who is the Program Manager of CX at Multichoice. I'm going to hand the microphone over to you. We also have Andrew Cook, the CEO of Smoke Customer Intelligence, better known as Multichoice's partner in terms of these 4 great awards. So, Clint, I'm going to hand over to you, and I'd like to understand from you how the CEM Africa this year has been for Multichoice.
Oh, it's been a pretty good year for us, I have to say. We were very, very fortunate to be able to walk away with 4 of these awards. I'm very proud of my team, I have to say. I work with a bunch of amazing women. We have some really amazing partners and an organization, more importantly, that is quite supportive of what we do. So for us, it's been an amazing weekend.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been fantastic spending the time with the industry, seeing the movements and what's changing in the industry, and really just getting to spend the time with some of our clients and seeing the great things that they're achieving and being recognized for in the industry.
Great, and welcome all, and congratulations once again. From the CEM Summit this year, how's it actually been for Multichoice this year? And for yourself, in terms, Andrew, how do you see CX into Africa? So I'm going to hand over the microphone to you first.
Yeah, customer experience is really taking a much more pivotal role in industry in Africa in general. And the reason we see that is customer experience is the next level of growth within organizations. Initially industries need to get the hygiene factors right for their business. They need to start being able to process claims, deliver content, through great TV channels. They need to be able to deliver on the basics of their organization. And once they surpass that and move over to the next level of maturity in an organization, that's when you start worrying and start driving things like customer experience. And that's why we see a great insurgence and a great increase in the demand and the excitement around customer experience in Africa. I think our industries are starting to reach that next level of maturity.
I've been really impressed with the quality and the caliber of organizations that are here, and the different stages of the journey in which we are all in. More importantly, I think that it's been quite enlightening to know that the journey actually never ends, because just as you meet an expectation, it goes and gets changed. So for us, I suppose it's a way of life going forward.
And that kind of leads me on to the next question, because it is a journey. There are so many new channels of engagement from a customer perspective. In terms of that, how do you see Multichoice engaging with your agents on a daily, regular basis to facilitate the enabling of these potential new channels?
We started our framework with a very sort of traditional view of we're going to survey the places customers engage with us, and we're going to create what looks like a heat map to give us a bespoke view of what our experience looks like across the customer life cycle. We've since found that we've since matured that model, and we've started adding in elements that really make sense. So our next step after that was real-time customer satisfaction, and we measure this in real time. I think the most important thing about real-time measure, connecting your customer and your agent in real time, is to always start from a position of data. You've got to know, it's not just about the score that you get back from that customer. You actually have to know when it happened, who it happened with, what the product was, who the customer was, time of day, city, package, all of the important data that you use ordinarily in your business. Don't ever lose that when you start surveying your customer, because the insight, you've got a single moment in time to ask a customer a question in the real-time environment. You've got one question to ask, and without all of that backup data, that question becomes irrelevant. You've got to be able to look at time of day, agent, team is in, team leader who manages, what shift he was on, all of those kind of things. Those are the important bits of data, because that's going to tell you infinitely more than trying to create this eternal conversation with the customer. Start from a position of data. We've done that now for our call center agents. We've done that now for our installers who get that real time, and we've now done that for our walk-in centers. Our call center is now managed by CSAT rather than the more traditional kind of values of service level, average call duration, that kind of stuff. We've moved into a place where we are actually listening to a customer's point of view about how the service is that's being delivered there.
So contextualizing and aggregating all of this data of the customer and making that available to your call center agents and to your field services provides a unified view of the information that you have on that particular customer, facilitating a more constructive interaction with the customer as well. And that's extremely great. And I think that leads on to the next question, which is from a customer perspective, the data that you have at the moment, the data that you are using, that you have within a unified view, do you think that you could complement that with additional content to make that engagement and interaction with the customer a lot more efficient?
We've started something really exciting, and we'll be talking about it in our session coming up at 12:30. We've started exploring the relationship between customer experience and employee experience. And there's been a lot of talk about this in the conference for a long time. And I think it's a new buzzword. But for me, what was particularly important for us is that we needed to be in a position where our customer experience was a really, really solid foundation. I didn't want to base employee experiences on something that wasn't grounded in customer experience. So what we do is we take the result of a survey from a customer. We use that as our trigger for an employee engagement. And then we start surveying that employee about that engagement and ask them, how did you feel about your ability to deliver that service? How do you think your customer felt about the service you delivered? Do the tools that you've got meet the expectation you have? Does the system meet your expectation? And what ideas have you got around how we could improve that? And it's an incredibly interesting case where you look at what the disconnect is between the agent's expectation of the service that they delivered and the customer's expectation. And then we took it one step further, and we took that agent expectation and followed it up the chain of command. So we then asked that agent's team leader about that engagement to find out how they perceived it. We asked that team leader's manager and went all the way up the line, all the way up to the executive level, and then into the product management level. So we'd asked the product managers, how do you think agents are delivering the service? And then we will always be able to compare it back to the actual service a customer is telling us it's about. And this is an incredibly rich set of information. You now start adding in things that you've never considered before.
So effectively a global unified view of being able to actually build a contextualized perspective across your organization. And typically, we've been hearing a lot about silos within organizations. So you've been able to actually cross-silo throughout your entire organization, a single perspective in terms of the interaction with the customer. I think that's an extremely step forward, and hence why I think the 4 awards this year. Congratulations again. And I'm going to hand the phone over to you, Andrew, just to complement that, please.
And I think just what Multichoice is doing and what Clint and the team are doing with the employee perception of their feedback is so important, because often you find people delivering service in an organization and their perception of that service that they're delivering is great. They feel that they're delivering outstanding service, but maybe they haven't got the relevant levels of EQ, or they don't understand customers' expectation at that moment of truth, and they're not delivering on customer expectation. And unless they can see that disconnect, they're not going to be able to fix that problem. Or the people that are getting it right and exceeding the customer's expectation, they can't help and grow the other people in the organization to deliver the same type of service. So I really think it's a great thing to learn from.
Would you like to add something to that as well?
Absolutely. Andrew's 100% right. I think there's a symptom around call centers generally, and maybe it's a broad statement, but I think it holds true. We have measured call centers very, very numerically, very quantitatively for many, many decades. And customers' expectations around service have diverged from that significantly. They don't care about the speed of answer. They don't care about the length of call. They don't care about the things we care about. They care about other things. And we're not connecting what a customer cares about to what an agent's what the agent's world is about. We measure an agent about the speed of duration. Did you tick all these boxes when you did the QA stuff? Did you answer? Were you at your desk? Everything is so quantitative in their world. Whereas our customers are telling us that's not important. And the time has come for us to connect the two. What Andrew said earlier as well is that the most important thing we also need to recognize is that as CX professionals, we have to fight the urge to go and look for what's wrong all the time. The value in the future lies in connecting what went right back to the agents. We are going to get far bigger benefit by able to connect the customer who had a fantastic experience to the person who delivers that fantastic experience. We will get agent feedback. Agents will understand what exactly they did to deserve that kind of feedback. We will get to know what customers are expecting of it, and the rest of the call center are going to see outstanding stars delivering these moments of truth, these moments of absolute pleasure, and they are going to follow suit. We're going to get a groundswell of people following the leaders.
Perfect. And I think that leads on to the next question, which is, following the leaders, because that moment in time where there is a rightful moment in terms of the engagement, it could be deemed to be a live engagement that the entire call center needs to experience at the same time to be able to, from a future engagement with any other customers, maybe a minute or 2 minutes later, to be able to actually use that relevance, to be able to actually associate with the customer a lot better. Do you feel that a live engagement like that would, potentially expedite the process?
I think it's yes. The answer is yes. I don't think it's a simple answer. I think that we're going to be working very hard in the next year to find out how to do this appropriately, because we have to protect our customers' anonymity in the same way we have to protect our agents' sort of dignity. So there's going to be a discipline involved around how do we make these moments that work and the moments that don't, how do we make them visible? And we're starting to move out of the really sort of numbers-driven CX environment into the really sort of emotionally charged human factors of engagement. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be some work this year, I think.
And this is what this platform's about. It's about engaging with yourselves. I'd like to take the opportunity to actually thank you and congratulate you both in terms of the 4 awards that you have won this year. You are the partner. Such a small part of it. We are live at the Customer Experience Management event. Clint, Andrew, thank you so much for joining the CEM Summit Africa 2017 this year. I'm going to hand the microphone for closing statements from both of you.
I think to anybody who's out there who's part of this, who's embarking on this journey, hold the course. It's going to be hard work. It's going to be, for every person who agrees with the way you do it, 3 people are not going to agree with the way you do it. Hold the course, hold true to what you believe. I promise you it will be all right in the end. It's a incredibly rewarding place to get to, but it's very difficult to get there in the end.
And I agree with what Clint's saying. It's definitely it's worth the journey in the long run. I think what's really important is for you as an organization to understand your stage of maturity in customer experience. And if we look at an organization like Multichoice, exceptionally mature in what they're doing and where they're going, but they also started somewhere. And Clint spoke about his journey of customer experience throughout Multichoice and how things changed over the years. And I think organizations have got to understand that is a journey. And they come to a conference and they look at what Clint is doing at Multichoice and they want to do that. And they really want to run before they can walk. And I think sometimes understand where your organization is, understand where your stakeholders are willing to invest now, prove return on investment, prove value to them now at that stage, and then you can move up that value continuum. But just understand, and I think that's very important for businesses to get.
So thank you for that. So the longevity in terms of the journey and the commitment to the journey is extremely critical throughout the entire course of this journey that we're all going to be on. I'd like to thank you both, Clint from Multichoice. Congratulations again on your 4 awards at the CEM Africa Awards this year. And Andrew, from the CEO from Smoke, thank you so much for sharing this opportunity with us.
And if there's anybody listening from Kalula, I'm going to have extra luggage when I go home.
You're going to need the luggage. I'm sure they're going to be able to load that free of charge for you. Yeah. We're live at the CEM Africa 2017 Summit from Cape Town. We're going to take a quick short break for the next interview.